Okay, hey guys, this is your Maybon. I'm not even calling it Maybon. Um, this is your fall Equinox weekend reading. The reason I'm not gonna call it Maybon is because I'm not Wiccan, so I don't really connect with that word too much. But either way, it's still the fall Equinox or the Harvest Festival, or all in that area, whichever one you want to call it that resonates with you. So, just from the first three cards alone, which of course we're just gonna jump right into it. Just from the first three cards alone, it already resonates with me. Um, let's get I pulled these as more so indicator cards than the readings down here. So the first one, like I said, I'm learning tarot. So the first card I pulled was the Fool card. Now, to me, what I've been learning is that many people see this Fool card in many different ways. For most decks, it's normally the first one is called Jester, Juggler, whatever, or the Fool. Um, but in this deck, it's the 21st card, which when you add that number up, it comes down to three. Which three is it's a Trinity. It's the number of the Trinity. Um, but to get more so into the picture, because different people interpret it different ways, so I'm going to interpret it my way, for what I'm learning, and I'm more so going with this, and also the symbolism in the picture from that I know of off the back, and whatever comes to me. Okay, so first, let's get to the Hebrew alphabet. I'm not really good with the Hebrew alphabet, but I know the certain ones that I know, and I know this one is Shin. Now, the reason why this stands out to me because Shin, the Hebrew letter Shin or symbol Shin, whichever way you want to look at it, is where we get the oh, excuse me, is where we get the word sin from in the Bible. That's where it comes from. So, for those that don't know, when you read the Bible, you can't just go by the literal. It has a much deeper meaning. But the Hebrew word shin is where we get the word sin from, and shin actually just is just fire. It's connected to fire. It's connected to the primordial mother. And over here you also have the other symbol for fire. So with that, that already lets me know that lets me know that he has potential, all potential. One of the things in the beginning when they mean the primordial mother in the beginning, when they say out of the darkness comes the light, well, if you ever study the left hand path, if you ever study the Kabbalah or just from general, the left hand path is considered dark, while the right hand path, I'm sorry, is considered light, and the left hand path really, excuse me, is more so you going within and connected to your intuition and letting it come from there, basically. And that's considered the primordial path, the mother path, the dark hand path inside. Out of the dark comes the light. And the right hand path is the more sort of logical side. Neither one is better than the other. It's still both sides. It's just two sides of the same coin, depending on which side you fit on. But the light is more so, it's active. It's what you're outwardly doing. Um, it's what you want to reflect out to the world and what you want the world to reflect back to you. So for this is more so um, also when I look at this, I see as the first thing I get is that Bible verse, "Out of the dark comes the light," which to me automatically shows that this is all potential. Now with that, I also noticed that he has two sticks, and from learning tarot, I know the sticks are more so the wands. So with wands are very versatile, which also show me he has the abilities and skills to do things. It just depends on how he willed it. Because now this is known from knowing the history of lions. Lions was never little; they was always this big, and what they was were they were hidden as walking sticks. So they were used for walking sticks. They were used for knocking down coconuts. They was used for directed energy. They was used for a lot of different things. So that's what wines really. That's what wines are. Um, or at least that's how it was used back then. So to me, it shows potential. Now here on this particular stick, he has a bag. Now the color red is for the root chakra, which means he's taking his knowledge from the previous lands. As you see, is water that he has to cross. So he's taking knowledge, his wisdom from the previous knowledge, which is rooted in his root chakra, and that's where all our experiences, whether it's good or bad, are rooted in our root chakra. That's why to me, that's why his bag is red. And he's taking it with him as he's crossing over into new land. So to me, there's a crossing over. So there's potential going into new land. There's wisdom going into new land, and he has feathers on his cap. Now I do know. I don't want to get the century wrong, but I do know there was a time where there were a group of people called the Feather Caps, and it was a secret society. And basically, it was basically saying these people had ascended and these people had ascended, and it connected to the Egyptians saying, light as a feather. When they went to weigh the heart, after they passed away, they would weigh the heart. And it was, and once the heart was weighed, if your heart was lighter than a feather, then you would move on. If it wasn't, then you went to someplace else. Um, so the feather represented their heart being light as a feather, meaning they are not attached to this world. And again, one of the Bible verses is to be in this world but not of it, and that's what the feather represents. You're in this world but you're not of it, meaning the world does not have you locked down. The world, meaning the world does not manipulate you. You manipulate the world for what you want to reflect, the experiences you want to have, and what you want to see. Which is really what the world is here for. It's for us to experience. But a lot of us got locked down into other people's experiences instead of creating our own. So, I also see here the cheetah, which is ripping away his a piece of his material. But to me, if you can see that, it's the color of his material that more so stands out to me because it's blue, and blue is connected to the throat chakra, which means this cheetah, this cat, is ripping away old his old truths. So now it's time not time to rely on new truths. It's time to keep going, and he's in full green, which means he's straight going on the heart chakra. But over here in the corner, you see there's an alligator. Now, for many cultures, the alligator represents ancestors, which means he's going to need some ancestral knowledge, which is basically wisdom passed down through spirit, through generations, in order to make it on the other side of the land. Also shows me that he has to be baptized because he has to cross water. And anytime you go into a new life, you always have the baptism of water and fire. No matter what, it's always some type of baptism of water and fire. Whether you're dancing around a fire pole, or you're sitting there singing, you're building up, or you're doing a cleansing ritual. Most times before you do anything, you're supposed to do a cleansing ritual, a bathing ritual. Certain religions actually getting baptized. That's what that represents. But on the other side has the alligator, which alligators again represents ancestral knowledge, which is also telling to be cautious, to make sure he fully understands what it is that he's doing before he crosses over into this new land. So for me, the Fool card is all potential, all potential understanding, but it's understanding based on past knowledge, which means you're ready to move on and you're moving on to the new one. But be very careful that you understand the difference between experience and wisdom, because when you run off experience, you run off emotion, and when you don't separate yourself from emotion, then you miss the wisdom in that situation that you're supposed to take on to the next level of your life. So that's what I get from the Fool card. Because as you see, he's not paying attention. He's just stepping out, and he's not even noticing the alligator there. And that alligator there is really a big caution. A lot of times when we get new information, we like to just jump out and blab and tell everybody, and we end up saying stuff because, and a lot of times we don't get shut down or get our feelings hurt because we don't really understand what we're talking about, and we just assume everybody out there has no clue of what we're talking about. But there are a lot of people out there who do have a clue and know it better than us. Um, and before we go blabbing it out, we really need to sit back, take time to digest. And actually, I think that came out in Tony Walker's reading either this week or last week. Where we need to actually sit back and take time to digest and just absorb. Actually, was it Tony Walker? Was it Tony Walker or Raven Knight song? One of them. Anyway, sit back and digest what we are learning and take it in and have full understanding, and then we can there go the dogs, and then we can go ahead and move on. But this is not saying don't move on. It just means as you're moving on, just move on with caution. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna try to shut the dogs down for a second. Okay, sorry about that. Hopefully I muted the dogs up outside. Um, okay, so this card is the Path of the Soul card. You guys, excuse me, I'm a little winded, and I'll explain that in another video. Probably when I get myself together, just a tad bit more. It's a reason for everything that my body is going through right now, and it's not bad. It's actually good. Um, anyway, that's a whole other story. So this is the Treasure card, and what the Treasure card basically is showing that all the stuff that was down here that was hidden from you is now being shown to you. New skills, new gifts, new ideas, new understandings. Um, New paths are opening up. So this is the Treasure card. And this card When I went to pull this card, I didn't even realize that both of these two were stuck together until I separated them. I went to put it up, and I was like, okay. So I did peek. Normally I have them turned around, so I did peek because I was curious why they were stuck together. But this one is also the reveal card, which if you look, I like it because now these two cards, I love how they did it because this card is the treasure card, which means all the hidden treasures are now being revealed to you. And because this is on top, this is the part that was hidden, and this is the part that's on top that's being revealed. It's showing that it's coming from the divine down. Now, I'm sorry. It's showing the meet, not the divine down. I'm sorry, it's showing the meeting in the middle. Whereas you did your work, so now it's opening up new things in the divine. And now that the treasures of new things in the divine is being revealed, and this part is the hidden part. And as you go down, it's coming down. All this is being revealed down here. And as you see, it's all different colors representing all different chakras. I mean, it's all coming down, and it's all coming together. It's being revealed for better understanding. So with that, let's go into the reading and make sure I turn them over right this time. Ooh. Oh, these are a lot of backwards cards. Wait a minute now. Now, every card in this particular reading are upside down. So, listening. Again, with the new stuff, this still goes with this. For everything that's being revealed, you need to listen better. You need to listen more. And because new things are being revealed, and you're sitting there, like I said, you have to be cautious of running out and telling people it's not time to talk about what you're getting. It's not time to go yell at the world what you're getting. It's time to listen and pay more attention. Now, because you're in between transition, you're in between dimensions, you're in between elevating and rising and going to new heights, it may be a little bit hard for you to find a beauty. Um, but you're going to have to. But the only way to find, and if once you find a beauty, you'll find fulfillment. So the reason why your fulfillment seems a little blocked right now or static is because you have to learn how to find the beauty and what's going on. Like with what's going on with me right now, I'm having a lot of issue with with my throat and my lungs and my nose, like heavy sinus issues. But again, I always go through these sinus issues when I'm going to a whole different level of study and understanding. It's more so like a physical representation. I'll do another video. Anyway, so once you find a beauty in that, you can start to see fulfilled. And once you find the beauty, you can start to see that the storm you may be going through right now or the stagnation you may be going through right now is not a bad thing. Stop fighting the stagnation. Stop fighting the storm. Get your umbrella, sit your behind down a little bit. Let the let the information be channeled through you. Write down those dreams. Um, study. Or if you have studied the things you got revelation on, go back and look at that. Make sure you have full understanding. Make sure you understand all the little details. Just like with this picture, I can go in deeper. There's a lot of details in this picture. And just like when you get stuff, you may see you write down all the information that you can remember, and it may not stand out to you right now, but as you go back, other things will start to stand out. Once you do that, you'll start to have more fulfillment. This to me is not a physical fulfillment; it's more so of a spiritual fulfillment. Whereas you're like, aha, okay, I truly get it. I don't just memorize it. I don't just I understand it. I can internalize it. I can explain it. And once you'll know when you can understand it, when you're going to explain it on different levels. When you can explain it to the 2-year-old, as well as the 60-year old scholar. That's how you know you truly understand it. And you can keep it simple without having to have these big old bright ideas and concepts. You can keep it straight to the point. Now, the other thing is letting go. A lot of things, and again, this is showing that it's blocked. A lot of times, what's blocking us from letting go stuff is because when you go into a new house, you cannot drag everything from the old house. So a lot of things that's blocking us is stuff that we're not letting go of. And a new house is not always bigger than the old house. A lot of times, a new house is smaller to keep us confined a little bit, so that we don't drag more stuff or add more stuff to us that don't necessarily need to be there. So we have to learn how to let go of old logic, old ways of thinking, and let new ideas and new concepts come in. Okay. Then after that is belonging. Now, again, this is also upside down, and the reason why is a lot of times when we're going through that thing in our mind where this is what we tried all this time, but something's telling us to do this. We're trying to figure out who do we belong to? Who do we be loyal to? Do we be loyal to our past experiences that kept us alive so long, or are we going to be loyal to our intuition and this new information that we're going into so that we could try something different, maybe get something different. And you have to start realizing who you really belong to. And when you're going through that ascension process, you don't belong to your past experiences. You gain the wisdom, you keep the wisdom, and not the fear, not the emotion, but the wisdom. And you put that wisdom on pause for a minute, and you run off your intuition and your spirit and your new knowledge, you'll start to see where you belong. You'll start to see which was once true for you then may not necessarily be true for you now. It was true for you then because that's what you needed for that time in your life. It doesn't mean it was ever a lie. It just means that in that time in your life it was true for you. But right now it no longer holds true because you're going to a new place, a new destiny, someplace different. So, and it's also this also connects also to the autumn equinox because we've been planting seeds all year and now it's time to reap what we sowed. But the thing is, once we reap what we sowed, like say if you're picking apples, okay, now you got these apples. What do you do with them? Now you got to figure out where you belong. Do you just sit the apples on the side, or do you take those apples and create? Do you make apple pie? Do you make apple cider, which is one of the things we're gonna be doing this weekend? Do you you know, add apples to other ingredients like oatmeal and uh, I'm hungry. Excuse me. But to other ingredients to make new things. Do you take some of the apples and offer them as a sacrifice or as a gift to others to new things? That's part of knowing where you belong. Knowing now that it's harvest season, knowing what to do with your harvest. You've been working this all this long on your spiritual life or whatever part of life you've been working on, and now things are starting to come back. But now that it's coming back, you have to decide where you belong, what you're going to do with this. Are you going to still do your old habits, which is the reason why you're back in the situation now, or are you going to create new habits and go by what you know you should be doing, not what you used to, what you know you should be doing to get to where you're at. So once you start doing that, all these will become unblocked. And this video is much longer than I thought it would be. So everybody have a blessed weekend. Have a blessed Maybon if that's what you celebrate. Have a blessed Harvest Festival. Have a blessed Autumn Equinox. Okay? Peace.